How to microdose retatrutide. Now, this is an interesting concept because I see a lot of things online, and I'm not online very often, but I do look at some of the research and I do look at your comments, and many people are microdosing retatrutide that is coming from a research use facility. Retatrutide is not yet available to the public. Eli Lilly's still making it through their Triumph studies. They just released some very exciting news on their Triumph 4, which showed that knee pain, osteoarthritic knee pain, went away in over 70% of the participants, which is super exciting, not to mention that they had a dramatic decrease in their ability to lose weight. But microdosing, I'm going to share with you in this video why you need a concentration of these molecules, these peptides, and you don't want to just pulse it when the half-life is so long. And so I'm going to share with you some studies, what we've seen, and then hopefully when retatrutide's ready, you'll know how to work with your physician so that you can avoid getting on these higher doses that I think could be dangerous to your health. And then you can start activating some of this metabolic makeover that this beautiful peptide structure seems to promise. So I'm Regan Archibald. I'm the founder of Ageless Future. For those of you who want to go deeper into your health, just go to agelessfuture.com. My team will help you get the right testing ordered, put the right protocol together based on your personal goals, and help you create the future that you want. So let's talk about the studies and the philosophy around microdosing. So I am a big fan of tirzepatide. Tirzepatide just made my team's job so much easier. When our doctors, our providers started prescribing tirzepatide, we saw a dramatic improvement in metabolic health, and we always started at a lower dose. I remember having conversations with our medical team because each one of you who comes into the office, comes into the clinic, you have an entire team that's talking about your care. It's not just one provider, but you have a fitness advisor, you have a health integrator, you also have these longevity coaches, and then you've got your executive medical team. And we meet together frequently so that we can make sure things are on the right track for you. When we started, we found that dosing, these microdoses, actually worked just as well for weight loss when you put in and you completed the protocol with lifestyle. And lifestyle changes is what I've been obsessed with. Every year I have new benchmarks for my own health. This year I'm trying to run a 40-yard dash as fast as I could in high school, which was a pretty fast time, 4.5 seconds. I don't know if I can get there, but I am running a lot more. I'm getting more and more physically fit, even in my late 40s. I'm knocking on the door of 50, and I'm competing against my 18-year-old self. So that's exciting to me. That's what lights me up. I just find that these peptides create a leverage for me so that I can achieve those goals faster. And when we working together with my medical team, they gave me the right insights, but one thing we learned is that smaller is better. And everybody's got a different set point. The pharmaceutical companies, and one of the frustrations I had with it, one of the reasons I left conventional medical school, I went and studied Eastern medicine in Hawaii, studied an integrated medical school there. I just found that I wanted things to be personalized and customized. And one of the beauties with peptides and compounding pharmacies, we've got this unique relationship where you have the choice. You can start microdosing if you can get out of that kind of medical complex. When you have a prescription of Ozempic, for example, or Mounjaro, there is going to be a dose that is based on what they found in the science, in the literature. And that's going to be the specific dose. And yes, they'll start smaller, but you'll titrate up way too fast. And the end dosing is far too high, and that's where all the side effects come from. So when you're microdosing, what we found, and here's the study that I wanted to reference for you. This study, they found that actually being on a smaller dose actually led to some dramatic metabolic changes. And I know everyone on this channel, you guys are really into your health. You're into eating the right foods, getting your macros, getting your protein solved, doing the best workouts. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. But this was published in 2025. It's called Retatrutide, a game changer in obesity pharmacotherapy. What this was is a human phase 1 study. It was conducted in Singapore, and there's also multi-center sites in the United States and other countries. They took 47 healthy participants, and 45 of them received at least one dose of retatrutide. Yes, it was peer-reviewed, but here's the conclusion. They found that once-weekly retatrutide showed clear dose-dependent metabolic and weight effects with very small weekly doses around 0.5 to 1.5 milligrams. Now that is a fraction of the 12 milligrams that is in the highest dose. When you see these headlines of retatrutide, Eli Lilly's blockbuster, 28% reduction in total body weight, which is like, I think the average was like 71.5 pounds. So if you have a bunch of weight to lose, maybe you need to be on the higher dose for a short period of time, but then let's bring it back down. Because what we're finding is that in this study at least, 0.5 to 1.5 milligrams produce modest changes, while higher, steadily titrated weekly doses drove the substantial benefits, supporting the idea that a stable once-weekly concentration and adequate dose, not frequent microdosing, if you do it too frequently, it's needed for meaningful transformation rather than minimal activation. So what they found is if you can go up from 0.5, stay at that dose, 1 milligram to 1.5, that's actually a better way to titrate it up. It's the low and slow process. And if you need to go to the higher dose, you're going to get better activation if it's needed. But this is where it's really exciting when you think about what we call the Ageless Future Operating System. If you have the right diagnostics, if you can remove the metabolic interferences in the first place and build up deficiencies, now your body can actually start to heal on its own. You can start to reboot that whole metabolic engine, and you can stay on that lower dose so you never have to titrate up. The problem with the pharmaceutical companies is, yes, they are for profit. You can't blame them. Every business in the United States is, but it's not just the fact that they're for profits, but it is a factory, and it's very standardized medicine. And when you can work with a licensed medical provider who also has access to some of these novel structures through these 503A compounding pharmacies, now you get this beautiful combination of having customized therapies that fit for your metabolic profile, whatever you may need, whatever dosing, and it doesn't follow the standard guidelines. If you're somebody who just likes to be on that kind of industrial complex, the conveyor belt, then it's going to be better for you to just stick with the conventional medicine, focus on exactly what the studies show, repeat those experiments, and don't customize anything. But what I found with biology, these double-blind studies, sometimes they can be misleading because we just think that that is the cure. It's the retatrutide that's going to fix everything. But if you don't start stacking some of these lifestyles, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, I can tell you that you're going to lose muscle mass. And if you lose muscle mass, you're more prone to fall and break your hip. And if you break your hip at the age of 50, your chances of death of all causes in that year after the break increases by 50%. And I don't want you to risk your future. I care about you too much. I love you too much to let you put your body at risk and just to follow the same guidelines that we've been fed for, since the 1950s, since the real manufacturing of these pharmaceutical machines have come out. Now, they do great innovations, and I don't want to discredit that. Eli Lilly with retatrutide, this is a crazy blockbuster treatment that I'm really excited to have access to once it's released. But when it comes to customization, that's where they overlook the benefits of this doctor-patient relationship and having medical protocols that are more customized. And then when you stack a team, you've got your longevity coaches. I'm a longevity coach. We've got a couple others in the office. You have your health integrator. You also have the fitness advisor, so she'll put you to work. But now you have this whole team so that you can complete this whole process of body transformation. So if you're thinking about microdosing, the thing I would say is microdose the peptides and macrodose your lifestyle. I look at health as three things. I look at it as having a great lifestyle, whatever that means to you. It's having financial success, that's having freedom of purpose, something that drives you, something that excites you, these great relationships around you, people who energize you, and then also having this freedom of time so you can do the things you love doing. I look at it as fun experiences. What are some of the cool things you've got going on in 2026, for example? I want to hear about it. And then also having the ability to generate energy. But you can't do that with just a single molecule like retatrutide or tesamorelin or BPC or any of these things. You've got to have a whole approach where you're actually solving the emotional things. Make sure that you're working on these emotional pathways. You want to get rid of pain. You want to take care of any infections. There's so many things going around from an infectious perspective, especially these crazy viruses, thanks to COVID being released and some of these spike proteins that get in us. And then you also want to get rid of any kind of chemical toxicity. And this is where I'm very excited about what's happening in the United States right now, because we're making changes. We've got an administration, thanks to RFK, who's actually taking these dyes and these food additives seriously. He's taking the process of putting fluoride in our water. Like Utah was the first state to adopt the bill to ban the use of fluoride in water. We've had it in our water for 30 years. I remember when we were trying to stop it in the beginning and it didn't get stopped. So think of retatrutide or retatrutide. Sorry, I know there's two ways of pronouncing it. I'm trying to fit both of the people who like it. Retatrutide, great. Retatrutide, great as well. But think of it as, microdosing it, you're going to start the Ferrari's engine. And when you start increasing the doses, that's when the car really starts to drive. But the way you can get it to drive sooner is just by cleaning up the lifestyle around you. Clear your gut out. Do the tests when it comes to your mitochondria. Start activating nitric oxide pathways. And I can tell you, you'll be in fifth, sixth gear. You'll be flying down the road in your Ferrari sooner than you'd realize without these escalating doses, where you now put yourself at risk of having nausea, diarrhea, and then the new issue that they found in the Triumph 4 studies are the issues with the skin. So I'm Regan Archibald. I care about your future. I want you to live the best life possible. I want you to feel, look, and perform your best at any age. If you want to go deeper and work with a world-class team, go to agelessfuture.com and we'll help get you the right testing necessary so that you can start living the life of your dreams. I'll see you on the next video.